Hey everyone, Jason here, digital marketing consultant and certified Canva creator, and in this Canva 2.0 tutorial, you're going to learn how to quickly make awesome YouTube thumbnails using Canva and just a screenshot or a standalone picture from your video. So with that, let's go ahead and dive into my screen, timestamp table of contents in the description to skip around. Now, of course, the very first thing you need to do once you've logged into Canva is choose the YouTube thumbnail canvas, and you can do this by simply clicking on Create Design and then clicking on YouTube. I already have it up to save us some time. Now, the first thing you actually want to do is add a grid, and what this is going to allow you to do is to easily format every single photo you drop in. It will automatically size to the canvas. So what you're looking at right now is a blank design, but what happens when we drag a photo in, it doesn't always automatically resize. So you see it drops in here and it doesn't really look like it, then we're gonna have to resize it. Whereas if we had a frame, we could go ahead and click and drag and it would automatically frame it up every single time. Now, if you have a blank canvas, Canva sometimes does this automatically, but it's not always a guarantee. So what we want to do is come over here to Elements and then click on Grids and just click on the first one. And now we have a grid. Also, if you decide to do any filters, you can actually apply the filters to this grid, and then every image you drop in will automatically have that filter applied. So now, now that we have our grid, the next step is, of course, getting an image. So if you've taken a standalone image for your thumbnail, you go ahead and upload it. Here, I'm gonna go through an example where I have a video that I want to take a screenshot from. So this is one of the previous vlogs. So I'm going to go ahead and use Sketch. You can use whatever screenshot tool you like. Windows has one that is built in, and we'll go ahead and click and drag close enough. Go ahead and capture. Of course, since I'm using a MacBook Air for this, the dimensions aren't going to be perfect, but that's okay. And then we can go ahead and drag this over to Canva and upload it. So we'll go ahead and give it a second to upload. And now that it's uploaded, all we have to do is click and drag, and it will automatically be resized. Now, as you can see, I was a little sloppy when I did my screen capture, so we'll just click and make it a little bigger so that the extra stuff is not in there, and we don't have that little black bar at the top. So I'll just bring it here, and that's close enough. It's gonna be tiny on a mobile screen anyway. And now what we can do is go ahead and add our text. So we have a couple options for adding text. To save us some time, I'm just gonna scroll down here so you can see some previous examples. So one of the most basic things you can do is just add white text, and then you duplicate that white text and put it a little off center so that it looks like it has a shadow, and it's very easy to read pretty much with any color background. The next thing you can do is create a couple boxes to frame the text so it's very easy to read, or you could just be really simple and do something like this. So we'll go ahead and go through all three of these examples right now with this new one. So scrolling up here, first thing we're going to want to do is come over here to text and choose add heading. We want the text to be super bold, and I'm just gonna go ahead and bold it. I like to use the default font that they have. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a headline, change the text color to white, even though it's gonna be very hard to read right now, and then bring up the font size super big. And because I've chosen such a silly long headline, I'm gonna go ahead and bring the text down here and then bump it up a little bit more to see just how big I can get it without it looking too obnoxious. And I think that's about good. So now all we have to do to make this significantly easier to read is go ahead and copy it and change the text color to black. We'll click on position here and send it backward so it's behind the text. And now you can see it would be easier to read, but now we get to play with getting it just about right. So you want to center the two of them first so you actually can't see the new one you just made, and then you can go to the left a little bit, you can go to the right a little bit, or you can go up a little bit so you get the nice little pop there, and then we'll click and select both of them and bring them into the bottom center. And then that way it's a lot easier to read. Now, obviously, we'd probably want to do a little bit more with this because the image in the background is so dark. Now, a quick way we can fix that is we can come up here to filter, and we can actually start playing with these filters to try to make it a little lighter or darker depending upon what you are looking for. You can see here, just clicking through, it's very, very easy to change up the entire look and feel of the thumbnail. Of course, you do want to make sure that whatever you do choose, that you come down here to the zoom and you go ahead and put it down to 25% so you get a good understanding of what it's going to look like on a mobile device, and even going down to 10% if you're thinking about what is it going to look like as a suggested video on a mobile device. Now, there are a lot more things we could do with this one, but I think that gives you enough to play with and some ideas. So we'll go ahead and zoom this back up here. I'm going to duplicate it, and this time we're going to add some elements in the background so we square it off. So we'll have our 2 lines of text again, but this time we want to separate our elements. So we want the top and the bottom to be in a separate text box. So I'll go ahead and delete the top from this one, and then I'll delete the bottom from this one. And yes, it's very hard to see, but we'll fix that in a second. We'll come over here to Elements and click on the square, and we'll use it as a background to help make the thumbnail text significantly easier to read. So I'm just going to be real plain and do black and white. You saw from the examples earlier, you can play with the colors, and then we're going to go ahead and have the position go backwards, and that way we can click and drag the text on top of it. And something to note, just in terms of saving time, is actually putting the text box a little bigger and then putting it in the corner. That way it's easier to click on the text box and drag it to the size that you need, and then you can go ahead and resize it down to however you want. So I'm going to click, now that it's about the same size, center it a little bit, and that's good enough. Let's go ahead and select both of these and rotate them a little bit. Close enough. So let's go ahead and duplicate this. We'll make this one black as well. Of course, we could change it up with blue or something, but let's go ahead and be nice and fast. We'll bring this down, and we'll say that the content machine is going to go right here. So position will bring the text forward, so it's in front of the black box, and then we'll go ahead and make the black box the full width. So you can see here, I'm trying to select the black box and I can't, so I'm gonna have to drag it down a little bit. Just make the black box so much bigger, and then that way I can bring Content Machine to the bottom left corner there, bring it all the way in until the text box is the exact size of the text. Now, because I made this one bigger, I can click and drag, and then go ahead and bring that down. And after a lot of clicking, we have it centered. Now, obviously, it's very easy to read the headline, but it doesn't work too well with the placement of the actual image in the background. So we'll just be plain again and bring the headlines down here so it's easier to read in the context of what the thumbnail image is. So we can bring it down here, bring it centered, and then go ahead and click and drag. And that way we have a little bit of an overlap, but it's very easy to read. And of course, if we zoom down to see what it would look like on mobile, you can see behind the scenes Content Machine. That's significantly easier to read than this one, of course. Now, the only other thing that I would recommend playing with when creating your thumbnails is trying out some of their icons. So what you can do is come up here and search for some icons. So let's say this is about YouTube or video. So let's go ahead and search YouTube and see if they have any icons for us. They have a couple of free ones, so we could go ahead and click, take this icon, and we could try and be clever and move it in between to replace one of the letters here, or we could just take it and put it in the top corner and rotate it a little bit. And that's all there is to it, to creating your thumbnails quick and easy using Canva. So just dropping in the image, using that frame, and adding some text, and you are good to go with your thumbnail. So here we go through the other examples we had before, and of course you can create thumbnails without your face at all. If you just want to do the exact same thing with a background image, you can do something that looks like this, following exactly what we did. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this video, and more importantly, some ideas on how to create your own thumbnails using Canva 2.0. Comment below if you have any questions, and hit that like button and subscribe for more design tutorials just like this one. Over on my channel, I'm documenting the entire process of what it takes to be successful, building and marketing an online business, and of course, making great thumbnails for your YouTube videos is just one small piece of the bigger picture. So until the next one, keep building the business you love.